GOP presidential nomination race reminding some now, let's go back in time to 1976, when President Gerald Ford faced a convention challenge from a guy named, who was that? Oh yeah, Ronald Reagan. Could another contested convention be in store for next summer in Cleveland now? Donald Trump just talked to our own Chris Wallace about all of this.
They're kidding themselves. I'm going to win. I think I'm going to win. You know, I'm not one of these other guys that goes down. I don't go down. I go up.
Do you have a warning for GOP leaders?
Well, you're going to hear Trump's answer only here to that question next. Fox News Alert now to tell you about brand new reaction from Donald Trump on criticism from Republican leadership after the Washington Post reported on a meeting of top GOP leaders and the possibility of a contested convention next summer in Cleveland. The spokesperson for the Republican National Committee says this: the RNC is neutral in this process, and the rules are set until the convention begins next July. Our goal is to ensure a successful nomination, and that requires us thinking through every scenario, including a contested convention. Really? Let's get some real talk from Larry Sabato, director of the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia. Larry, first and foremost, let's talk about what a contested convention is, because we haven't really seen this since 1976. So if the candidate doesn't get the majority of the delegates on the first ballot, it becomes contested, right?
That's right. Also, it becomes contested if it's really close and the candidate who's in second place, just a few delegates away from a majority, thinks that he or she can grab a few delegates from the leader. That can become a contested convention, too.
Okay, so are delegates obligated to vote for the candidate chosen in the primary or caucus in the state in which they came from?
They're supposed to vote for the candidate to whom they're pledged for the first ballot. After the first ballot, pretty much anything goes. Now, some states have their own individual rules, and they may try to require delegates to stick with a candidate for longer than one ballot. But, you know, who enforces these things? How do you enforce them? You're not going to go to court about it. So let's just say, you know, I attended the last truly contested convention in 1976 between President Ford and eventual President Ronald Reagan. And let me tell you something. It's incredibly exciting. Anything can happen, and the rules kind of go out the window.
No, listen, this is what people kind of want back in our government, because the last couple of decades, it's just been a foregone conclusion. But I want you to listen to what Donald Trump has just said now about the fact that there was this so-called private meeting with the RNC to discuss him and a potential contested convention. Listen to Trump.
They're kidding themselves. I'm going to win. I think I'm going to win. You know, I'm not one of these other guys that goes down. I don't go down. I go up.
Do you have a warning for GOP leaders?
I say, folks, you know, I'm sorry I did this to you, but you got to get used to it. It's one of those little problems in life.
So what do you think of that?
Look, Donald Trump is nobody's fool, whether you like him or dislike him. He knows, and I think he's correct in this, that if he doesn't go into the convention with either a clear majority of delegates or very near a clear majority, it is very possible that the other candidates and the party leadership, both in the RNC and probably the congressional leadership, will come together and try to find a way to give the nomination to somebody else. See, he's figured that out. He's right. I think Ben Carson's figured that out too. So that's my reaction to what he said. He's wise to say that.
Yeah, I don't know how smart it is for the RNC or whomever else to be leaking the fact that they were already talking about this, because that is just going to fuel the fire even more with these outsider candidates like Trump especially and Carson. Larry, we'll see you again next week. Thanks for your analysis. And let's tell you where you can hear that whole interview that Chris Wallace got. It's going to be on Fox News Sunday with Donald Trump. Check your local listings.